Hi, everyone. This is Ben Cohen from Key Scouts, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to this episode. Today, we're talking about something that's creating major buzz in the B2B world: AI in marketing. It's a fast evolving area that we at Key Scouts believe holds incredible promise for companies looking to grow organically and boost their visibility in a competitive market. One of the insights we've uncovered is that the adoption of AI driven marketing solutions can free up nearly 75% of a team's time by reducing repetitive tasks. Imagine the possibilities when your marketers can focus more on strategy and less on busy work. At Key Scouts, our mission is to help you harness tools like AI to create authentic connections with your audience, refine your messaging, and ensure every interaction supports your broader brand story. We'll be diving into how AI can deliver more personalized experiences, improve lead scoring, and optimize campaigns in real time. Of course, consistent messaging and a cohesive approach across every channel remain just as important as ever. New technology doesn't change the need for a well-defined brand identity. The exciting part is that AI can magnify your impact when you weave it into a thoughtful strategy rather than treating it like a quick fix. By focusing on organic growth principles, we believe businesses can embrace these innovations without losing that genuine human touch. Later this season, I'll be bringing on Bobby and Brenda, two of our experts who have hands-on experience integrating AI into complex marketing environments. They'll share real-world stories, offer tips for overcoming adoption challenges, and show how these technologies can help you move the needle on meaningful metrics like conversion rates and customer retention. I can't wait for you to learn more about the practical ways AI can transform your marketing efforts and help you stand out. There's so much potential here for those who are willing to experiment, adapt, and stay true to their brand essence. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, I'd love to connect with you personally on LinkedIn, or you can reach out through the eScouts website. Let's get ready to explore how AI can make all the difference in your B2B marketing success.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been hearing a lot about AI lately, especially in B2B marketing. And you know what? Our listeners, they're on top of it, just like always. They sent in a really cool article from Key Scouts.
Key Scouts, yeah, they're a B2B marketing agency.
That's right. And let me tell you, this article, it really opened my eyes to how AI is changing the game. I mean, it's not just some futuristic fantasy anymore.
Definitely not.
This stuff is happening now, and it's having a real impact.
A huge impact, and I think for a lot of companies, it's really a game changer.
And one of the things that really blew my mind was this stat from the article. Get this. AI-powered teams are 7 times more likely to hit their goals.
7 times. That's incredible. It really highlights the power of AI. It's not just hype, it's actually delivering results.
It's not just a buzzword, it's the real deal. And, to help us unpack all of this, we've got our AI expert back with us. So buckle up, listeners, because we're about to dive deep into the world of AI in B2B marketing. Imagine a world where your marketing campaigns are so personalized.
So personalized.
They practically run themselves. That's the kind of power that AI brings to the table. But, before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
let's take a step back. And for someone who's not a tech whiz, what exactly does AI in marketing even mean? I mean, we hear all these terms being thrown around: machine learning, NLP, computer vision, all that jazz. But what does it all actually look like in action for marketers?
Right. It can feel a bit overwhelming, like you're suddenly trying to learn a whole new language.
Exactly. It's like, whoa, slow down. So can you break it down for us? Like, what's machine learning in plain English?
Okay, think of machine learning like this. It's basically teaching a computer to find patterns in data, without you having to program every single step.
Like it's learning on its own. That's kind of freaky, but also kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's like showing a kid a bunch of different dog breeds.
Yeah.
You're helping them learn the difference between a Chihuahua and a Great Dane, right? And eventually, they can spot those differences on their own, even with a breed they've never seen before.
So we're basically training computers to be like super smart marketing detectives.
You got it. And they can sift through mountains of data so much faster than we ever could. And maybe even spot things that we, as humans, might miss completely.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. So instead of us spending hours and hours staring at spreadsheets, we can let the machines do the heavy lifting for us.
Exactly. And that frees us up to focus on the strategic stuff, the creative stuff, the stuff that really requires our human touch.
Okay, so we've got machine learning. What about this NLP thing, natural language processing? What's that all about?
All right, so NLP. That's where computers start to understand and respond to human language. Think about those chatbots that can actually hold a conversation with a customer.
Oh yeah, the ones that don't just give you a list of canned responses. Like they
Yeah.
actually get what you're asking.
Exactly. Or software that can analyze online reviews and tell you if people generally love or hate a product. It's pretty wild.
So AI is basically like a super sleuth eavesdropping on all our online conversations, right? Is that a good thing or is that kind of creepy?
Well, it definitely raises some interesting questions, but when it comes to marketing, that kind of insight can be invaluable. It helps you really understand what your customers are thinking and feeling.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've covered machine learning, NLP. What was the other one? Computer vision, right?
Right. That one's basically giving computers the ability to see. They're interpreting images and videos just like we do.
So they're not just analyzing numbers and data, they're actually processing visual information. How is that even possible?
It's pretty incredible. They're trained on these massive data sets of images, millions and millions of them, so they can recognize objects, faces, even emotions.
Wow, so AI can basically tell us how someone is feeling based on their facial expression in a photo.
You got it. And that kind of technology opens up a whole new world of possibilities for marketers.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, think about analyzing images on social media,
Yeah.
to figure out how people are really feeling about a brand. Are they posting selfies, all smiles with your product? Or are they posting these frustrated rants complaining about something? Computer vision can pick up on those cues.
That's mind-blowing. So AI can basically read the room, even if that room is online?
Yeah, and it can even personalize what people see on a website based on the images they're clicking on or hovering over.
So it's like AI is creating a custom experience just for me based on how I'm interacting with the website. That's wild.
And it's happening now. Key Scouts highlights this company, CoFrame. They're doing some amazing things with AI-driven personalization.
Cool frame. What do they do?
They personalize the entire website experience. We're talking text, images, even the code running behind the scenes.
Hold on. AI can tweak website code in real time based on who's visiting.
Yeah.
That's next level personalization.
It is, and the results speak for themselves. CoFrame, they did a trial with this major international company, and they saw a 42% average increase in click-through rates on campaigns that use this AI-driven personalization.
42%.
Huh.
That's a huge jump, and I bet that translates to more sales, right?
Oh, absolutely. Some segments even saw a boost of up to 352%.
352%. Okay, now I'm seeing dollar signs. That kind of increase in engagement would be a dream for any marketer. So it sounds like this is just one example of how AI is really making a difference in the B2B world.
Yeah, it's a great example. And Key Scouts, they go on to explain how AI is helping B2B marketers do some seriously impressive stuff, like tailoring messages to individual customers, digging into data to uncover hidden insights, and even automating tasks, the ones that keep us chained to our desks.
Oh, tell me more about that. What kind of tasks are we talking about?
Think about those things that eat up all your time, like scheduling social media posts,
Yeah.
analyzing website traffic, creating reports, all that stuff. AI can handle a lot of it for you.
So it's like having a virtual assistant that never sleeps, working tirelessly behind the scenes. Sign me up.
Yeah.
But okay, let's get specific. What are some of the key benefits that Key Scouts highlights in their article? Like, what are the big takeaways for marketers?
Well, they talk about this concept of enhanced customer personalization. They actually call it hyper-personalization.
Hyper-personalization. That sounds intense.
It is. It's taking personalization to a whole new level. And they also talk about improved decision-making through data analysis, because AI can analyze so much more data than we can.
Right.
And then there's increased efficiency through automation, of course. And then something that I find really intriguing, they call it real-time insights and adaptability.
Real-time insights and adaptability. Okay, break that down for me. What does that even mean?
It means that AI can help us react and adapt to changes as they're happening, instead of waiting weeks for a report and realizing that our whole strategy's off track.
So we're not just reacting to the past, we're actually making decisions in real time. That's a game changer. Okay, so we've got hyper-personalization, data-driven decisions, automation, real-time insights. I mean, these are all amazing benefits, but how do they actually play out in the real world? Like, let's say I run a sauce company. What would hyper-personalization look like in action for me?
Okay, so imagine this. Instead of blasting out generic emails to everyone, you're sending each customer a message that's tailored to their specific needs,
Their needs.
their interests, even their past behavior.
Wow. So it's like AI is creating a unique message for every single customer. How is that even possible?
It's possible because AI can analyze massive amounts of customer data, everything from their browsing history to their social media activity, and then it uses that data to create these truly personalized experiences.
So no more one-size-fits-all marketing. We can actually speak to each customer as an individual. That's a huge shift. Do you have any examples of how real companies are doing this, like B2B companies?
Oh yeah, definitely. Key Scouts, they actually have this really cool case study featuring CoFrame.
Co-frame again?
Yeah. Remember, they're the ones who use AI to personalize websites. They optimize the texts, the visuals, even the underlying code, all in real time, all based on who's visiting the site.
Wait, so AI can actually tweak the website code on the fly based on who's visiting. That's incredible.
I know, it's like magic, but it's real. And it gets results. They ran some trials with a major international company, and they saw a 42% average increase in click-through rates for campaigns using this AI-driven personalization.
42%, that's impressive. And some segments even saw an increase of up to 352%. That's mind-blowing. So it really seems like AI can make a huge difference in getting people to engage with your content, to actually click on those links and learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. Engagement is a huge part of it. But AI can also help us make better decisions overall.
What do you mean?
Like a lot of times in marketing, we rely on our intuition.
Our gut feeling.
Right, our gut feeling. But AI can bring hard data to the table. It analyzes everything and uncovers insights that we might have missed otherwise.
So it's like AI is taking the guesswork out of marketing.
Exactly. Data-driven decisions. That's the name of the game.
I like that. Data-driven decisions.
Yeah.
Can you give me a real-world example of how a company might use AI for that? Like a concrete example.
Key Scouts mentions BMC software, and they're a great example. They used AI-driven predictive lead scoring. Basically, they used AI to analyze tons of data points to figure out which leads were most likely to become customers.
So they could focus their efforts on the right people.
Exactly. And it worked. Their AI system, it generated 5,000 leads.
Wow. 5,000. That's a lot of leads.
It is. And it increased their marketing qualified leads, or MQLs, which are the leads most likely to turn into actual paying customers by over 2,500. And get this, they had a 49.5% conversion rate from those leads.
Almost 50% conversion. That's incredible. It seems like AI can really take the guesswork out of figuring out which leads are worth pursuing. Is that what Key Scouts means by increased efficiency and automation?
Definitely a part of it, yeah. AI can automate all those repetitive tasks that take up so much of our time.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, think about scheduling social media posts,
Right, yeah.
analyzing website traffic,
Uh-huh.
generating reports. AI can do all that stuff, so you don't have to.
So we can finally get rid of those tedious tasks and focus on the strategic stuff.
Exactly. And that frees us up to be more creative, more strategic, more human.
Okay, so less time on grunt work, more time for brainstorming and big picture thinking. I'm liking this more and more. But we also talked about AI giving us real-time insights, right? Like, how does that actually work?
Yeah, so imagine this. You launch a new marketing campaign, right? And instead of waiting weeks to see how it's performing, you're getting instant feedback.
Instant feedback, like real-time data on how people are reacting to your campaign.
Exactly. And that means you can tweak your approach as you go instead of wasting time and money on something that's not working.
So we're not just reacting to the past, we're actually being proactive and adjusting our course in real time.
That's the power of AI. It gives us the information we need to make smarter decisions faster.
I'm starting to see the appeal here. It's like having a crystal ball, but one that's actually based on data, not just wishful thinking. But how does all of this play out in the real world? Like, what are some specific ways that B2B marketers are using AI right now?
Oh, there are so many cool applications. Key Scouts, they dive into a bunch of them, like customer segmentation and targeting.
Okay, customer segmentation and targeting. That's the age-old challenge, right? Figuring out who your ideal customer is and how to reach them. But how does AI actually make that easier?
Well, AI can analyze data to find patterns and create these super specific customer segments, and we're not just talking about basic demographics anymore.
Like age and location.
Right, AI can go way deeper than that. It can segment buyers based on their behaviors, their interests, even their predicted future actions.
So AI can tell us not just who our customers are today, but who they might become tomorrow. That's be powerful stuff. But what kind of tools are actually using this technology? Like, are there companies out there doing this right now?
Absolutely. Companies like Optimove, they're using AI to create these personalized customer journeys based on these super specific segments. They can predict which messages and offers will actually resonate with each person.
So they're not just sending out the same message to everyone. They're tailoring each message to the individual.
Exactly. And that kind of precision, it's what sets AI apart. It's not just about reaching the right people, it's about sending them the right message at the right time.
And that's where AI really shines. It takes the guesswork out of marketing and helps us connect with our customers on a deeper, more meaningful level.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about, right? Building those strong, lasting relationships.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so we've talked about how AI can help us personalize messages and target the right customer segments. But what about the content itself? Can AI actually help us write better marketing copy?
That's a great question, and one that a lot of people are asking these days, with all the buzz about AI. Can AI actually write marketing copy for us?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely tools out there that are using AI to generate content.
What kind of tools?
Well, there's Neuron Writer and Copy.ai. Those are a couple of popular ones. But, I think it's important to remember that AI is not a replacement for human creativity, at least not yet.
So it's more of a partnership. Like AI can help us out, but we still need that human touch.
Exactly. Think of AI as your brainstorming buddy.
Your brainstorming buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can help you generate headlines,
Headlights.
outline key points,
Uh-huh.
even write basic product descriptions. But it's still up to us humans to bring the personality, the storytelling. That makes sense. We don't want our content to sound like it was written by a robot.
Right. It needs to have that human voice, that emotional connection.
Okay, speaking of human interaction,
Yeah.
let's talk about chatbots.
Yeah.
They've been around for a while, but have they really gotten better with AI? Like, are they actually helpful now?
Oh, they've definitely gotten a lot better. We've all had those frustrating experiences with chatbots.
Oh, yeah, the ones that just give you canned responses that have nothing to do with what you're asking.
Exactly. But AI-powered chatbots, they're different. They can actually understand what you're saying and respond in a meaningful way.
So, are we talking more than just FAQs and pre-programmed responses here?
Mm-hmm.
Can these AI chatbots actually hold a real conversation?
They can. I mean, platforms like Salesforce, they're using AI to power their chatbots, and it's amazing what they can do now. They can handle basic customer service inquiries,
Well,
they can qualify leads, they can even schedule appointments.
so it's like having a 247 customer service rep who never needs a break.
Yeah, exactly. Always there, always ready to help.
Sounds pretty efficient.
Yeah.
Are there any other chatbot platforms out there that are using AI in interesting ways, like any that really stand out?
Yeah, for sure. Intercom is a great example. They combine chatbots with live chat, so it creates a seamless experience for the customer.
A seamless experience.
Right. And then you have companies like Ada, they're building these really powerful chatbots for specific industries.
Specific industries.
So their bots are trained on data from that particular industry, like healthcare or finance, so they can give really specific and relevant answers.
So it's not just a generic chatbot that's trying to be all things to all people.
Right. It's tailored to that specific industry so it can really understand the nuances of the conversation.
That's really cool. It sounds like AI is taking customer service to a whole new level, making it way more personalized and responsive.
Mhm.
What about other applications? Where else are we seeing AI making a splash in B2B marketing?
Well, one area that's getting a lot of attention is predictive analytics.
Predictive analytics. Okay. That's where AI can basically predict the future, right?
Well, sort of. It's more about using data to anticipate what might happen next.
Like figuring out which leads are actually going to convert or which customers might be thinking about leaving.
Exactly. And tools like Optimove and Salesforce Einstein, they're already using AI to do this.
Wow. So instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, we can actually use data to guide our decisions.
That's the idea. And then there's programmatic advertising. AI is making that a lot smarter too.
Programmatic advertising. Okay, remind me what that is again.
So it's basically using software to buy and sell digital ads automatically. Like those ads you see on websites and social media.
Right, right. But how does AI fit into all of that?
Well, AI can help us optimize those ad campaigns, figure out where to run the ads,
Where to run them?
who to target,
Uh-huh.
how much to bid.
So AI can help us make sure our ads are actually being seen by the right people.
Yeah. Platforms like Albert.ai and MediaMath, they use AI to do this, and it can really save you a lot of time and money.
That sounds like a dream come true. No more wasted ad spend.
Exactly. AI can really help you get the most out of your advertising budget.
Okay, so we've got predictive analytics, programmatic advertising. What other AI tricks do you have up your sleeve?
Well, another one that Key Scouts talks about is visual recognition, and that ties into something called social listening.
Okay, visual recognition. So we're talking about AI actually being able to see images and videos.
Right, and it can analyze those visuals even if there's no text to go with them.
Wait, so AI can tell us what's happening in a picture, even if there are no captions or hashtags?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, right? AI systems, they're trained on these huge data sets of images so they can identify objects, faces, even emotions just from looking at the picture.
So it's like AI can read the visual cues, just like we do.
Exactly. And that's super helpful for social listening, because it means you can track what people are posting about your brand, even if they don't explicitly mention your name.
So it's like having AI as your eyes and ears on social media, constantly monitoring what people are saying and sharing about your brand.
Yeah. And platforms like Brandwatch, Synthesio, Talkwalker, they're all using AI to do this kind of visual analysis.
Okay, that's really cool. It sounds like AI is on its way to becoming the ultimate marketing assistant, handling all those tasks that used to take us forever. But I'm curious, with all this talk about the amazing things AI can do, is it really that easy to implement?
That's a great question, and Key Scouts makes a good point about this. They say that implementing AI effectively, it's not just about flipping a switch. It's not a set it and forget it solution.
So there's more to it than just buying some fancy software.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There are some key things you need to think about before you even get started with AI.
Like what?
Well, Key Scouts, they recommend asking yourself some tough questions like, is your data even ready for AI?
Is our data ready for AI? Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, AI runs on data, right?
Right.
So if your data is messy, like it's inaccurate or incomplete, then AI is not going to be very helpful.
Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly. So you need to make sure your data is clean and organized before you even start thinking about AI.
Okay, so data quality is crucial. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, what exactly are you hoping to achieve with AI? What are your goals?
Right, what are we trying to solve?
Exactly. And are you choosing the right tools for the job? There are tons of AI tools out there and they all do different things.
So we need to do our research and find the tools that are the right fit for our needs.
Yeah. And you need to think about your budget too. Some of these AI tools can be pretty expensive.
Okay, data, goals, tools, anything else.
Yeah, one more big one. Are you preparing your team to work effectively with AI? AI is going to change the way we work, so you need to make sure your team is on board and ready for those changes.
So training is important, making sure everyone understands how to use the tools and how AI is going to impact their roles.
Exactly. In Key Scouts, they also bring up an important point about ethics.
Ethics. Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, AI is powerful technology. And like any powerful technology, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
So you need to make sure you're using AI ethically.
Yeah.
You're being transparent about how you're using it and you're protecting people's privacy.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it.
Exactly. We need to be responsible with AI, just like we're responsible with any other powerful tool.
Okay, those are all really important considerations.
Yeah.
It seems like implementing AI is a lot more complex than just buying a software subscription and letting it run wild.
Yeah, it definitely takes some planning and careful consideration. One of the biggest mistakes companies make is trying to do too much too soon.
Like trying to implement AI across the entire company all at once.
Exactly. Key Scouts, they emphasize the importance of starting small, experimenting, and learning as you go.
So baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. Pick one project, see how AI can help you achieve your goals, and then build from there.
So don't try to boil the ocean, as they say.
Right. Start small, experiment, iterate. That's the key.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But let's say we are ready to dip our toes into the AI waters. What are some good starting points for B2B companies? Like, what are some areas where AI can really make a difference?
Oh, I think AI can be incredibly powerful for SaaS and B2B companies, especially when it comes to personalizing the customer journey.
Okay, the customer journey. Remind me what that is again.
So it's basically the entire experience a customer has with your company from the first time they hear about you to, hopefully becoming a loyal long-term customer.
Right, right. But how does AI help us personalize that journey?
Well, SaaS companies, they have a ton of data about how their users are interacting with their platform, right? AI can tap into that data to create these really personalized onboarding experiences.
So it's like giving each new customer a guided tour of the platform, tailored to their specific needs.
Yeah. And AI can also recommend relevant features that the customer might not even know about.
So it's like having a virtual product expert guiding them every step of the way.
Exactly. And AI can even predict which users might be thinking about leaving, before they actually churn.
So we can intervene and try to keep them happy.
Exactly. It's all about being proactive and using data to create a better experience for your customers.
Okay, that's really cool. So AI can help us keep our customers happy and engaged. What about finding new customers? Can AI help with that too?
Yeah, definitely. AI can be a game changer for B2B lead generation.
Lead generation. Okay, that's always a challenge.
It is. But Key Scouts, they mentioned tools like Sixth Sense and Demand Base. They use AI to identify these high potential accounts.
So instead of chasing after every lead, we could focus our efforts on the ones that are most likely to convert.
Exactly. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
I like that. Working smarter, not harder. AI, making us all look good.
Exactly. And, it's not just about finding leads, it's about nurturing those leads and moving them through the sales funnel.
The sales funnel. Okay, remind me what that is again.
It's basically the journey a customer takes from, being a prospect to becoming a paying customer.
Right, right. But how can AI help us with that?
Well, AI can be a secret weapon for account-based marketing.
Account-based marketing, or ABM. That's where you're targeting specific accounts, right?
Exactly. And AI can personalize those ABM campaigns at scale.
At scale.
So you're making sure that the right message is getting to the right person at the right time, even if you're targeting hundreds or even thousands of accounts.
So AI is basically automating our ABM strategy.
It's making it a lot smarter and more efficient, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But there's always a flip side to every coin. Are there any downsides to using AI in this way? Like any potential
Oh.
challenges we should be aware of?
Yeah, definitely. Key Scouts, they're pretty upfront about the challenges. They talk about things like data quality.
Okay, data quality, we touched on that earlier.
Right, and it's a big one. Because if your data is not good, your AI is not going to be good either. They also talk about integration with existing systems.
Integration,
Yes.
okay. So making sure that our AI tools can actually talk to our other marketing platforms.
Right. Because if they can't talk to each other, it's going to create a lot of headaches. And then there's the talent gap.
The talent gap, what do you mean by that?
Well, there's a huge demand for people with AI skills right now, and a lot of companies are struggling to find qualified candidates.
So it's not just about having the right technology, it's also about having the right people to use it.
Exactly. And then there's the cost, of course. AI can be expensive to implement.
Right, especially up front.
Yeah, the software, the hardware, the data storage, and then, hiring those AI specialists, it can all add up pretty quickly.
So it's not something to jump into lightly.
Right. You need to have a plan and a budget.
Okay, data, integration, talent, cost. Any other challenges?
Yeah, Key Scouts, they also talk about a general lack of understanding about how AI works. A lot of people are still intimidated by AI. They don't really get
It
it.
can seem like this mysterious black box, right?
Yeah. And that can make it hard to get buy-in from your team or from your leadership.
So education is key. We need to demystify AI and help people understand how it can actually benefit them.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the great things about the Key Scouts article. They do a really good job of explaining AI in a way that's clear and easy to understand.
Okay, so those are some pretty significant challenges.
Yeah.
But let's say I'm a SaaS company that's really excited about AI. I see the potential, but I'm also feeling a bit overwhelmed by all of this. What's a good first step to take? Like, how do I even get started?
Well, Key Scouts, they have some excellent advice. First and foremost, don't be afraid to start small.
Okay, start small.
Yeah, you don't need to implement AI across your entire organization overnight.
Right.
Pick one area where you think AI could really make a difference.
Like, give me an example.
Well, maybe it's lead generation, or maybe it's customer segmentation. Whatever it is, start with a specific problem that you're trying to solve.
Okay, so define the problem first.
Exactly. And then start researching AI solutions that might be able to help you with that problem.
So do our homework, see what's out there.
Right. And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Ask for help.
Yeah, there are a lot of companies out there that specialize in AI for marketing,
Okay.
and they can help you figure out the best approach for your business.
So find a partner, someone who can guide us through this new world of AI.
Exactly. You don't have to go it alone.
That's great advice. Any other words of wisdom for companies that are just dipping their toes into the AI waters?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to be open to experimentation.
Experimentation.
Try new things, fail fast, learn from your mistakes. Because the world of AI is constantly changing, and what works today might not work tomorrow.
So be adaptable. Be
Mhm.
willing to adjust our approach as we go.
Exactly. It's all about continuous learning and improvement. And, don't be afraid to push the boundaries a little
Set
bit
the boundaries, okay.
because the possibilities with AI are pretty much endless.
So be bold, be curious, and don't be afraid to experiment.
Exactly. And I think those who are willing to embrace that mindset, they're going to be the ones who really thrive in this new AI-powered world.
That's a great message to end on. Okay, so we've talked about the amazing potential of AI. We've talked about the challenges. We've talked about how to get started. But before we move on, I want to take a quick step back and revisit something we touched on earlier. We talked about the challenges of implementing AI, things like data quality and integration. But are there any other potential roadblocks that companies should be aware of?
Yeah, for sure. Key Scouts, they bring up a really important point about transparency and explainability.
Okay, transparency and explainability. Tell me more about that.
So it's not enough to just implement AI and hope for the best, right?
Right.
We need to understand how it's working, how it's making decisions,
Uh-huh.
and we need to be able to explain those decisions to others.
To our stakeholders.
Exactly, like to our clients, to our bosses, to our team. Because if people don't understand how the AI is working, they're going to be less likely to trust it.
So it's about building trust and transparency.
Yeah. Especially in a B2B context where relationships are so important.
Okay, so explainability is crucial. Anything else?
Well, they also talk about the importance of data security and privacy.
Right, especially with all the data breaches happening these days.
Yeah, you need to make sure that you're protecting your customers' data.
That you're using AI ethically and responsibly.
Exactly. So, those are all things to keep in mind as you're exploring AI.
It sounds like implementing AI successfully is a lot more than just buying some fancy software.
Hmm.
It's about having the right data,
Data.
the right goals,
The right goal.
the right tools,
The right tool.
and the right team in place to make it all work.
You got it. It's a team effort for sure.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the basics of AI, the benefits, the challenges, the tools, the trends. But, before we wrap up, I have one final question for you.
Okay, hit me.
If our listeners could do just one thing today to start exploring the world of AI, what would you recommend? Like, what's the one action step they should take?
Okay, well, I think the most important thing is to start thinking about the specific challenges that you're facing in your business right now.
Okay, so identify the problem.
Yeah, what are those pain points?
The pain points, yeah.
What are you struggling with?
Uh-huh.
Once you've identified those challenges, start researching AI solutions that might be able to help.
Okay, so do our homework, see what's out there.
Right. And there are so many resources available online, A lot of AI companies, they offer free trials or demos, so you can actually test out the tools before you make any big commitments.
So try before you buy. I like that.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Ask questions, okay.
Yeah, there are so many experts out there who are happy to share their knowledge, reach out to people, join online communities, go to conferences, whatever it takes to learn more.
So be curious, be proactive. Don't be afraid to reach out and tap into that collective knowledge.
Exactly. The AI community is really welcoming and supportive, so just dive in and start learning.
Great advice. Well, it sounds like the key takeaway here is to be proactive.
Yeah.
Don't wait for AI to come to you, Go out and explore it.
Explore it.
Experiment with it. See how it can help you take your marketing to the next level.
Exactly. Because AI is here to stay, and those who embrace it are going to have a huge advantage in the years to come.
Well said.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that about wraps it up for this deep dive into the world of AI in B2B marketing. It's been an amazing conversation. We've covered so much ground today, and my head is buzzing with all these AI possibilities. It's clear that AI is not just some passing trend. This is the future of marketing, and it's happening now. What are your final thoughts on how AI will continue to shape the B2B marketing landscape?
Well, after diving deep into that Key Scouts article and having this conversation, I think the biggest takeaway is that AI is a tool, a really powerful tool. But like any tool, it's up to us as marketers to use it wisely and strategically, right?
We can't just expect to plug in AI and watch the magic happen, can we? We still need to be creative, think strategically, and most importantly, bring that human element to everything we do.
Exactly. AI can handle the number crunching, the data analysis, the automation, but it's up to us to bring empathy, that real understanding of our customers and that human touch that builds genuine connections.
Key Scouts makes a really strong case for why AI is revolutionizing B2B marketing. And they're honest about the challenges too. But they also paint a picture of what's possible, when we embrace AI and use it to our advantage. What stood out to you the most from the article?
I really appreciated their emphasis on starting small and experimenting, It's a great reminder that we don't need to have all the answers right away. We can learn as we go, try new things, and adapt our approach based on what's working. What about you? What resonated with you?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway was that AI isn't a set it and forget it solution. It's about constant learning, iteration, and being willing to adjust our course as we gather more data and insights. So, where do we go from here?
Mm.
What's the next step for B2B marketers who are ready to explore the world of AI and start putting these concepts into practice?
Key Scouts offers some really practical advice. Don't jump on the AI bandwagon without a plan, right? Take some time to figure out what your specific needs are. Choose the tools that align with your goals and build a team that's equipped to navigate the world of AI, both the challenges and the opportunities. And most importantly, be willing to experiment. Don't be afraid to try new things and see what works. What about you? What's your advice for those starting out?
I totally agree. The world of AI is bursting with possibilities, and those who are willing to explore those possibilities will be the ones leading the pack. So to all our listeners out there, be bold, be curious, and embrace the power of AI. It's time to dive deep into the future of marketing. And you know what? If you're hungry for more on this topic, definitely check out the full article from Key Scouts. They've got a ton of great insights and practical tips to help you navigate this exciting world of AI in B2B marketing. And that's a wrap for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries.
We've reached the end of today's podcast. We explored how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing marketing by enhancing customer personalization, improving decision-making, and increasing efficiency. With AI tools like machine learning and predictive analytics, B2B companies are optimizing campaigns and driving growth. Remember to stay prepared for future trends like generative AI for content and real-time campaign optimization. Thanks for tuning in to B2B Growth Insights. This is Ben Cohen. Remember, in B2B marketing, data drives decisions and content powers connections. Until next time.